it. And let's pause the recording. Just between us. Oh, yes, thank you. No, stop the recording for a second, please. And we'll start. Okay, hi, and welcome to Wellness Bowls with Instant Pot and Air Fryer. My name is Kirsten Mattis, and you are in the right place. This is being recorded, so know that I record all my classes and then I make them available on YouTube for you to check out if you bought the class. It's an unlisted link. If it's a free class like this one is, it's going to be a public link on YouTube. Tell your friends. Okay, so how class is going to go. I have to look down here for my agenda, not there, just so you know. How class is going to go is I have a menu, literally hot off the press menu. We're going to have chef's choice wellness bowls with a variety of proteins and vegetables that are going to happen, and grains, lots of grains, all made in the Instant Pot and the air fryer. Speaking of, looking good. Okay. And I have a drink for you, an fruit infused water. And I'm gonna make a bunch of these things. I'm gonna take a break when all the machines are going. So if you need to get up, stretch, get a drink, that kind of thing, don't worry, you're not stuck in front of the screen. And most importantly, hey, do you have the behind the scenes image? Okay, thank you. Most importantly, I am looking at a webcam right now, not you. So you can do whatever it is that you want to do. I mean, within reason, but you can do whatever it is, because I'm not like staring right at you, but I see you smiling. Yes, I do. Okay. So I have a producer who you can see in the corner of this image. That is my child, Emma, and they are monitoring the chat, and they're going to drop in links because I have not given you a handout for this class yet. They will be dropping in the recipes as well as I go through them all. We're going to be doing 8 recipes tonight, which is crazy. And I think we can get it all done. We'll see. And so if you have questions, drop them in chat. Emma will read them out to me. I will speak them out loud so that if you are watching this recording, you'll hear the question because you won't be able to see the chat. Okay. And there will be a break. Okay, good. So who am I? And this is where you can do those pictures. I am a person who is really into food, really. I'm a person who's really into food. I currently work a couple days a week at Minnesota Central Kitchen, thank you, which is I work at Showgirls Catering in Northeast Minneapolis. And we make food for food insecure people around the Twin Cities. And then sometimes we make really high-end food for people who have a lot of money to spend on nice food. They're a sustainable place. We compost everything. You know, if we're cooking chicken, we're saving the backs, turning those into giant pots of chicken stock, which we then use in all sorts of stuff. We compost all our scraps. And we're paid a good wage, and it's a wonderful place. So I'm very happy about that. I also I've been teaching cooking classes since 2016. I was in person in Ohio and here, and then I switched over to online in April of last year, and I've kind of been doing some in person, some online, but I like the online a lot because I can show you more things. All I really can't do is teach you, I would let you taste. Yeah, we're gonna call that good. Okay, so the other thing, oh yeah, and I have a website. And that website is Farm Fresh Feast, and I started that one next month, 9 years? 2012, 9 years. Yeah, because it's 2021. 2012, 9 years ago, all about how to make the most of your farm share. And I actually would like to know, since I just turned off the air fryer and this is the first time I've used the air fryer in class, is there an audible difference in there or not? Okay, thank you. because I'm teaching an air fryer class in November, and I would just, this is why we're all here today, is for me to work the bugs out, and I appreciate it. Okay, so Farm Fresh Feast, Minnesota Central Kitchen, me. Hi, Jenny. She's live. It's that smile. Yes. Okay. Why is a pasta salad over here? All right. So the first thing we're going to do is some Instant Pot farro and Instant Pot wild rice. Now, I am from, are we? Yeah, that's going to be not terribly hot. I am not from around here. However, wild rice is kind of a thing for Minnesota. So I'm going to grab this out. I'm just kind of killing two birds with one stone here. This one is, and how do I know? Oh, you're showing it. Good. We have pressure. More people do not have a pressure cooker that do have a pressure cooker. That's impressive. I got to read my, okay, you can't read all the things. Can you tell me the results of the poll so I can click them over, say them out loud? More people do not have a pressure cooker than do have a pressure cooker in our audience today. Yes? 50% of us would like to call our Instant Pot Pauline, and 50% of us call it Instant Pot. Fair enough. 60% have an air fryer. That's good. Your fresh cooking class, you're newbies. I love taking cooking class. I'm all over the place finding cooking classes from, I keep getting them from the East Coast. I don't know why, but I'm learning lots and lots of Ethiopian cooking and Eritrean cooking from cooking classes. All right, bang this out a little bit. All right, so what I'm doing right now is I am draining the wild rice and I'm draining the farro because I cooked them simultaneously. And cooking grains in the Instant Pot is like super easy. I'm telling you, the pressure cooker, it makes it faster. I never really cooked farro prior to having a pressure cooker, so I can't really speak to that one much. But I have cooked wild rice before, so I can apples to apples that one. If you cook wild rice on the stove, you bring a pot of water to boil, and then you add the wild rice, you turn it down to a low simmer, you cover it, you wait for a specific time, then you come back and you turn it off. And in an Instant Pot, you throw it in the machine and you add your water and you put the lid on and you push a few buttons and then you walk away. And there's no turning it down, there's no adding a cover. You just walk away, and then at the end you drain the rice like you do from the stovetop. So we have two different ones here, but they also have according to Martha Stewart, they have a very similar cooking time, and I believe Martha, and so I did this. So I've got some farro in this one, and I wanna, which one over here? Okay, I have to move the poll out of my view. Thank you. I got farro in this one. Farro is a, oh heck. Farro is an ancient grain cultivated by humans from the Fertile Crescent of the Middle East. It's a good source of protein and fiber, and it is wheat. So this is not gluten-free. However, if you want to avoid gluten, you can cook wild rice. Wild rice, I got my wild rice up in the North Shore on Lake Superior. So I buy it by giant bags. But what I'm talking about is not that orange box of a wild rice blend. No, this is straight up wild rice. This is a grass. It is not a grain. It does not contain any gluten. They both cook for 20 minutes in the Instant Pot. They're unattended. You put it in the pot, you add water to cover it, give it a rinse before you put it in, add water to cover it, and then cook it at high pressure for 20 minutes. And after that, you quickly release it. What happens if you're not around to quickly release it? Can you show that picture? Thank you very much. If you are not around to quickly release, which stops the cooking, you can just do a natural pressure release, which is the one over there. Thank you, Em. That kind of makes the grains a little more blown out. But I use that in soups. I use that in stuffing. I use that in meatloaf. So, I mean, they taste just fine. They're just a little bit more blown out, and I prefer a more tender grain for bowls and for salads, things like that. All right, so 20 minutes for both of these, quick pressure release, and all you do is just cover them with water. Grains, 2 grains, boom. Recipes 1 and 2 down. Now I have to rinse this out because we have more to do. We have more to do. Our next 2 are also going to be using the pot method with the Instant Pot, and I'm actually going to show you how to use the Instant Pot this time. Yeah, I had so much I wanted to do that I thought, let me just go ahead and get this started. And then I screwed everything up because normally I teach class at 6:30 Central Time, which is 7:30 Eastern Time, because time zones, they're a thing. And I was thinking, you know, how can I make this our dinner and just make it easy? So I went ahead and said, we're doing this at 4:30. I put it on the iCal on the computer. I told my producer, I told my gaffer, I told everyone. And then apparently I had to tell them again because we weren't quite set up, and that is not a typical thing for us. All right, so I'm gonna rinse this one out too. So a little bit slower than usual start. Don't worry about it though. We'll get it together. All right, when you're doing the pot and pot method, A, you need a trivet, and B, you need a bowl. Any kind of bowl that could fit in the oven, so it's oven safe. You wouldn't do like a plastic Tupperware, but you could do silicone. Silicone would be just fine in here, as we will see in a little while. But I use stainless steel bowls. I have a bunch of stainless steel bowls I inherited from my mother. Anything that fits in your Instant Pot works for pot and pot cooking. So for the quinoa, I am gonna do, so it's French green lentils and quinoa. And I'm going to put the French green lentils at the bottom and the quinoa at the top. Where'd the quinoa go? It's very nice for my community ed cooking classes because they have, they make me get everything all ready ahead of time. There you are. So you get the handout like a week in advance. Oy. And I'm not running around doing it again. Okay. I got some French green lentils at the bottom. And yes, there's a difference between French green lentils and green lentils, brown lentils, red lentils. I think that's all the lentils there are. We'll see. There's a difference. You don't really want to use a green lentil that is not a French green lentil. Ooh la la. You want to use French green lentils for a recipe that calls for French green lentils because they hold their shape really nicely. They won't turn to mush. And I'm just trying to get all this quinoa out of the way because I gave it a little bit more. Okay. So again, like with the farro and the wild rice, I'm just going to cover these with water. So let me put this water to cover in the bottom. It's probably a ½ inch of water covering it. It could be more. And then I'm going to pop in the trivet that came with the Instant Pot. And then I'm going to put some water on top of the quinoa in my stainless steel bowl. The neighbor's dog is barking. Oh. All right, good. Now, and get the lid on. All right, so I have two different Instant Pots I'm using here. And if you have a pressure cooker that is not an Instant Pot, worry not, because none of these recipes are actually using any of the presets. Like the microwave over here is a popcorn and a potato button, and I've never ever used those buttons. So even though there are soup and rice and porridge and multigrain and all sorts of silly buttons on the various pressure cookers that I have in here, I'm only going to be using the simple high pressure or low pressure or steam or saute. Sometimes saute is called brown, kind of depending on what your brand of pressure cooker is. But no presets here, nothing fancy. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do this at high. Oh, thank you very much. Let me hit cancel so we're blank. We're going to be pressure cooking at high pressure for 8 minutes. This one in particular is an ultra mini, so it has a spinning around kind of dial. You can tell which kind of Instant Pot it is up here. And I want to pressure cook, so I have to push. And I want to set the time, so I have to push that. And then I'm going to roll down to 8 minutes. That was quick. And then I'm going to push the start button because I need to do that. This is going to cook for 8 minutes, and then we're going to quickly release. And while it's cooking, when I start hearing some sounds, I'll talk to you a little bit more about how a pressure cooker works. But in the meantime, we have to move on, actually. Let me put a lid on these. The quinoa we're doing is a tricolor quinoa. There you go. It's a pretty quinoa. It's tricolor quinoa. Jenny, I'm cooking with quinoa. Can you believe it? Quinoa. We're not going to go there because that's going to go on YouTube. And then the French green lentils, I get these in bulk at my natural food co-op. So I just use regular jars. You go over here. You go over here with the peanut butter. All right. That's there. That's going. We need something to drink. The other thing we got for you is an infused water. And this is at work, we make infused waters for catering events. And they pretty much just say chef's choice on the menu. So when the person is doing their order, they'll just say, leave it to us. We'll figure out what's in season and what's good. And they do, which is one of the things I just adore about working, because nobody's trying to get you to use heirloom tomatoes in December when they just don't taste good. It's seasonal, it's local, and that makes it very yummy. Okay, thank you. In here, I have an assortment of peaches, apricots, and plums. Yeah, and this is all, oh, you're gonna need to drop that link in chat. Not that anybody's around the Twin Cities, but if you're in the Twin Cities, Brightside Produce is an organization that was started by biology students at the University of St. Thomas. It's a food justice organization, and their mission is to get fresh fruits and vegetables into food deserts in the Twin Cities. And to do that, they have a delivery service where they bring me a bag of fruits and vegetables each week, and I pay a food justice surcharge on top of that, that the Brightside Produce folks use to buy additional produce and stock shelves. And then they even buy any unused produce back from the store owners, so that really there's no loss to the store owners, and people who maybe don't have access to transportation to get out of the city to a large grocery store get access to fresh vegetables. It is totally a win-win. But I have a bunch of fruit and it wasn't getting any younger, so I chopped it up and made an infused water. You can do all sorts of things. I'll pour some of this into a quart jar. You can do all sorts of things with infused fruit. You can do strawberry lemon is a good combination. You can do blueberry lime. You can do, I did a blackberry lime, that was good. You can do grapefruit tarragon, which is one I shared in a previous class. And it's what you need to know if you're going to be using herbs is that they are very intense. The pressure cooker makes herbs super, super, super intensely flavored. Or get out of there. And that means that like a grapefruit tarragon, you don't want to just sip that. You could turn it into a cocktail. You could turn it in, and I don't cocktail very well, so I'm not a good advice for that. But you could add it to sparkling water. You could freeze it as ice cubes and add those to whatever cocktail you would use. But me, I like the fruit waters, and I often will either make a tea with them, like use that and some tea bags to make a sun tea, or I will use the fruit water and use that to dilute lemonade base. We have some strawberry fruit water, strawberry lemon fruit water in there right now that I've been making strawberry lemonade with, and that's good. So if you have fruit that's maybe not going to be good for a while, I think it's a really good idea to chop it up, throw it in a pressure cooker. You'll need about a cup, a little over a cup of fruit and 5 cups of water. And you can drop that in, you can drop all the little ones in chat. Yeah. Okay, and 5 cups of water. And then it's 5 minutes on the pressure, under high pressure. And then you release the pressure. No, you don't. You naturally pressure release. Did you drop that in chat? Thank goodness for you. You are awesome. Okay, so fruit water. Let me set this over here. We have to let it cool a little bit before we try it. There's an orange cinnamon recipe for water. I get these from Instant Pot Cookbooks, and they have all sorts of recipes. All right, who's next? I have to talk about how a pressure cooker works while it's coming up to pressure, but it's not there yet. Okay, but I can do this. Oh, that's gonna come up to pressure too. Sweet, excellent. All right, we're gonna get a vegetable going to go with all these grains. And that vegetable is a Moroccan baby carrot dish. But wait, hark, hark. I am hearing the little bits, the sounds of steam escaping. I'm hearing and I'm seeing steam escaping from this pressure cooker. So how a pressure cooker works is that there's water inside. It's heated up, the water turns to steam. The steam cannot escape. You have these little tiny holes, a little tiny hole, and steam could come out of there. But the way the system is set up, this little electronic gizmo of this, it stops the stuff from coming out. Keep your eye right here, because this is going to pick to pop up. Steam is blocked, it can't escape. And after the steam can't escape, the temperature inside builds up along with the pressure. So normally on the stovetop, water boils at 212 degrees. Under pressure, it's higher. It's anywhere from 228 to about 250, depending on your pressure cooker. Goodbye. Thank you for coming. To Diane. It is up to around 250, 248, 250 degrees. And if you can see, that has just popped up, which for this particular model means that the steam is blocked and can't get out. So the steam can't get out, the temperature increases, and that means your food cooks faster compared to food on the stovetop, because the highest temperature you'll ever get on the stovetop is 212 degrees. It's just as far as it goes. So food cooks faster, and because of the pressure, you can like infuse flavors into things, you know, like water, but also like pot roast and sweet potatoes, things like that. But it's got to be moist cooking, because you need to have that water or chicken broth or wine or apple juice, but not milk, not tomato sauce, not orange juice, not something like that. Okay, has to be a clear liquid. And Jenny says that, yes, I'm making you think that you need to braai a pressure cooker. Yes, you do, because in addition to the water and to the quinoa and to the carrots that we're about to make, I also made chocolate zucchini bread over here, which I'm gonna dump out. So, you know, not just for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, but it's also for dessert. Do that. Okay, while that is cooking, we're gonna cook carrots. We're gonna steam carrots. Sure, you could do this in a microwave, but you don't have to because you can do it here. Where am I? That beep is the signal that the Instant Pot has finally come to pressure. So how long ago was that I closed the lid and went boopity boop with the buttons? That was a while ago. It is not instant. But I wasn't doing anything to it. You know, you just close the lid and you walk away. It does its own thing. Okay, we're gonna start Moroccan carrots in this pressure cooker. I need water because you need to have your steam. And then we're gonna dump some carrots in. I could tell you that I'm all sustainable and whatever, but honestly, what I was gonna do here was I was gonna get my Brightside Produce delivery yesterday, and I was gonna use the greens that came into that delivery in order to cook our vegetables. And sadly, the greens, we got no greens. We got like a daikon radish and an onion and a bunch of fruits. So that wasn't really helpful for me. Okay, so I've got baby carrots because I have them, and that gives us a little bit of color. And I have 3/4 cup of water, and this is going to be steaming at 0 minutes. Yes, very good. Okay, let me spin this one around. This is an Instant Pot Duo. So Instant Pot is a brand like Ford, and then within that brand, there's a bunch of different makes and models. And so this model is an Ultra, this model is a Duo. I have a Max over there. This one is 3 quarts, this one is 6 quarts. 6 quarts is big enough, I think. Okay, so I'm gonna pressure cook, and no, I'm not gonna pressure cook. What are you thinking? Good heck. I am going to steam. There you go. And I'm gonna steam for 0 minutes. I'm not sure where this machine came from. Oh, you have the machine I usually use because this one, the things are in different areas. All right, this one, you notice I didn't have to push start on that. So you have to get to know your own machine and how your own machine works, because each one kind of works a little bit differently. It's all interesting and different. But you know, read the manual for your own particular machine. Okay, so I'm doing nothing else to these carrots. They're just off they go. They're gonna go on. Here we go, command pressure. We need to make a dressing. Okay, so I need a bowl. Another bowl. Oh, good. Yeah, that'll do. Yeah, that'll do. Okay, so for this recipe, I've actually taught this recipe before in a fundraiser class for Minnesota Central Kitchen, because I had like a whole Mediterranean theme going on. But for Instant Pot, for wellness bowls, I mean, you can literally do anything you want to do. The other day, and if you could drop the link for Simple Bites in there, the other day I was reading a blog that had a quinoa-based bowl where she mixes quinoa and red pepper and corn and black beans. And that's her start to kind of whatever, you know, maybe it's taco meat, maybe it's carnitas, maybe it's barbecue tofu, whatever, but that's her base. And, you know, there's so many things you can do. Bowls are so interesting. But I'm kind of in a Mediterranean mood tonight. So it's going to be 1/4 cup of extra virgin olive oil and 2 tablespoons of lemon juice and the garlic that I haven't yet gotten out because the gaffer was still gaffing. And while I'm at it, I need the chart. Okay. Hopefully the chart is still good. All right, we have this, we have this. Paprika, sugar. Oh, thank goodness. I'm almost out of sugar. Paprika, salt, cumin, and cinnamon. Paprika, cumin, cinnamon. I have my Penzies and I need salsa pico, cinnamon sugar, cayenne pepper. Oh my gosh. So this honestly is why you preset everything and why you have your kid labeling. There's your cinnamon and there's your cayenne. Sweet. Thank you. I'm telling you, good health these days. Deer and dogs. All right, so you could use fresh lemon juice. I'm using the bottled kind just because I think it's easier. And I want a 1/4 cup of olive oil. And I'm gonna let the dog out because the dog needs to go. Oh, there's a bunny right there. You should not go out. No, you should stay in. Sorry about that. I set out the scraps from chopping up the fruit out there, and there's a really large bunny sitting out there eating that. And so we're not gonna bother the bunny at all. We're gonna let the bunny do the bunny's thing. And instead we're gonna mix the dressing with a 1/4 cup of olive oil and 2 tablespoons of freshly bottled lemon juice. Oh my goodness. Yeah. So Robert Barker has now got the scent of the bunny, and he is standing in the doorway, very, very interested in what's happening outside. No, we're not gonna hurt a bunny. It's not gonna happen. All right, 2 tablespoons of lemon juice to go with a 1/4 cup of olive oil. All right. And then garlic. You could mince your garlic. You could grate your garlic. If you like Kendra, grow really good garlic, lots of it, and don't roast it all and freeze it, you could grab your freshly chopped or even dehydrated garlic. Me, I have some garlic in the freezer and I have garlic over there, but I have this garlic, so I'm using it. Okay, garlic sugar. This is the last of the sugar because I'm out and need to hit the grocery store. I knew I was saving this for a reason. Okay. Now I need, there we go, a pinch of cayenne pepper. Assume with me that I have some diced parsley, because I was actually considering doing cinnamon or basil with the fruit in the water, and I'm so glad I didn't, because I'm like, you know, I need to back off on that one. Okay, 1/8 of a teaspoon of cinnamon. Let me go backwards up this. This one is also going. You can kind of hear the sound of the steam escaping, and it gets louder and louder, and the little machine thinks about going up and down. The little float valve is bopping up and down. A teaspoon of cumin. It ain't ready yet. Yep, now it is. And it's silent, which is good, but it still hasn't started. Will you be ready for me to quick release? Because I do need to quick release the quinoa, yeah? Okay, let's do that then. So once you have a machine that comes up to pressure, you have multiple things that you can do after the cooking time is done. You can allow it to naturally pressure release like I did with the fruit water and like I didn't do with the farro. And that just means you do nothing, you walk away. I did do that with the zucchini bread. You walk away and the pressure just naturally releases, the machine cools down, although not below an unsafe level if you have it on keep warm. Pressure just kind of drops away, the little pop float valve drops down, you open up your machine, Bob's your uncle. You could naturally pressure release for a specific amount of time. 10 minutes is a common one, before releasing whatever pressure remains. Or you could do a quick release, and that's what I'm about to do. It's kind of dramatic, and so just brace yourselves. I'm gonna push down on this, which is how the Ultra works. Do know that the Duo, you have to turn, not push down. And do know that the Max over there, you don't do anything. It just automatically does it. It's one brand. They have all sorts of different models, and the models all do different things. Okay, quick release. All right, that was a quick release. And as soon as the little silver pin drops, then I will be able to open the lid. That is what makes the modern electric pressure cooker different than the old-fashioned pressure canners and pressure cookers like I have down in the basement. You cannot open the lid until that pin drops. That's just the way it is. While that was releasing, I popped in a teaspoon of paprika, and now I'm doing a half a teaspoon of kosher salt. I know, Robert. Okay, and I'm gonna whisk this together with my whisk. My wee little whisk, it's a wee little whisk. So we have the Moroccan dressing for our baby carrots. All right, set you aside, but not with the whisk because it's just gonna fall in. You go over here. Yes, that will be fine. Okay. Now let's see what happens after we cook this. Excellent. We got our quinoa, and then below that we'll have our French green lentils. And let me tell you, I think I have to tell you about this now, but I'm going to anyway, even if I don't. There are a lot of different ways to get there from here. And by that, I mean that there are, if you look at pressure cooking quinoa or air frying tofu, while I'm talking about that, you'll find tons and tons and tons of different recipes because there's just lots of ways to get here. My usual way of cooking quinoa, if I'm just straight up cooking quinoa by myself or by itself, I'll saute it in a little bit of olive oil and I'll set the pressure to cook for 1 minute and then let the pressure naturally release for 10 minutes. But I wanted to do something that would cook at the same time. I wanted to get more done, trying to maximize here. So actually you should probably go out of here and into the other pot. So I cooked it for 8 minutes with a quick pressure release. It's a little on the overdone side, I will say, but I did maximize this all out. And now I'm gonna drain the French green lentils. 8 minutes is a good time for them. There is an amazing beet salad with French green lentils and beets that is, oh, so good. So very, very good. There. Rinse it all out. Okay. Just rinsing with a little cold water before I drain it all. Yeah. All right. I will let you sink. I think we're done with the pressure cooker. No, we got to do the Swiss chard. One more. I'm building my base. So we've got some French green lentils for protein. We've got quinoa, we've got wild rice, we've got farro. Get you over there. And now we can switch over to some vegetables. Okay, To do. Very good. Air fryer tofu. All right, we're moving on to the air fryer, and therefore I'm gonna pull this out. Ooh, nice. That'll be in the amazingness that we say, and voila. I have to do all this. We're gonna do air fryer tofu, and I'm kind of in a Mediterranean mood, I admit. I'm gonna kind of hit air fry. Yeah. So I've got tofu that I wanted to do with a za'atar seasoning. Za'atar, Z-A''A'-T-A-R, contains sumac, thyme, sesame seeds, paprika, cumin, oregano, and salt. And I buy it in a blend like this. I've seen it in international grocery stores that have just bags of it because you can just use it like candy. I like to use it in many ways. So this is some tofu. This is firm tofu. Firm, plain firm tofu. Extra firm would also work. Slide you in that way. And I want my good knife. I sliced it like Rachel told me to do. I sliced it in half lengthwise. So I had 2 bricks the same size. And then I pressed it in between a clean kitchen towel, not this one, kind of layering in between the towel and a slice of tofu and some towel, another slice of tofu. And then I weighted all that down with a couple of plates and a pot with a can of beans in it. You could use your own, whatever other heavy thing you have. But now I'm gonna cut it into cubes. We are. And I don't know how many I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna kind of make it look good. And then because I am, have you tried your purple thing like this? Yeah, I'm not a fan. I usually use a misto to spray, but my misto, something happened to my misto and it's a squirto right now. It is not a misto and it's kind of annoying. So we have this, which is well reviewed on Amazon, but it's kind of still squirting and not misting. But I want a little bit of olive oil. Ooh, slick, slick. You flip it over. If you put it on the thing that you've already used to make the previous batch of tofu, it will be already seasoned. So hey, we'll do that. We'll go with it. Debbie has a tofu press. Debbie is awesome. Where did Debbie get the tofu press? I mean, I have a Spam musubi press, but I would love a tofu press. That sounds cool. All right, so I'm just gonna sprinkle a very liberal amount of za'atar seasoning onto this tofu. Amazon, now we know. I may be more interested in learning that. I mean, I was stationed in Japan for a year-ish, and certainly I learned all about rice cookers, but did not ever learn about the tofu press. So I seasoned this, I sprayed it with some oil, I seasoned it, and then I kind of rolled it around to get the seasonings in. And I put it in my air fryer for, at 380 degrees. Let me go over there. 380 degrees for 5 minutes. And then I kind of checked it and I just kept checking it for every 5 minutes to see what it got me for. This took about, I think 11 or 12 minutes to get browned and crispy, but I'm looking for browned and crispy. That's your goal. And we'll do that one. Okay, now, we cancel. Olive oil or vegetable oil is now sprayed all over my papers, which is kind of charming. But we're on to the next page, so let's zing over there. Okay, what I want to tell you is for air frying, Just like with the quinoa, you could do 8 minutes in quick release or 1 minute and natural pressure release for 10 minutes. The same thing, I've been looking at a bunch of different air fryer recipes in cookbooks, and there has been, I've gotten anywhere from 8 minutes at 350 degrees to 12 minutes at 390 degrees. And so I'm doing 380 degrees, and I'm just gonna check it every 5 minutes. If I actually put it in, I should probably put it in. That would be a good idea. And then I need this. Was I supposed to quick release the carrots? Thank you for telling me. So the carrots have had a 10-minute natural pressure release, which means they're going to be super tender. And the way that this particular Instant Pot model works, you spin the release valve from sealing to venting in order to release it. So you saw a more dramatic quick release. Now you're going to see a more casual natural pressure release after 10 minutes. It's very anticlimactic. By the way, when you do the release, steam, hot steam comes shooting out. So you should probably, if it's quick release, make sure you have a hot mat or something to protect your hand. Were you going to tell me that I wasn't doing that? I mean, this is going to go like for public consumption. I'm trying to get people to sign up for my classes. So it's fine. You know, I need a little scoop. I'm going to toss these. I'm going to pick this up. Silicone on silicone. We're doing a little silicone on silicone action. And I'm going to toss this in the dressing that we made forever ago. This, by the way, a little silicone colander thing, came from Aldi. It is really useful because it can scrunch down into the 3-quart. It can expand into the 6-quart. If I had an 8-quart, it would also work in the 8-quart. Clever little thing. It was not very expensive. All right. And the trivet rack is out because I'm done with that. And I'm going to pour out the extra water. Now we can toss that with a little bit of a spoon. Toss these, get them all coated in this dressing, and then we will set them aside because I gotta get the cauliflower in, and then I will take a little break. Cauliflower. I have some cauliflower for us, and we're gonna do a colorful Greek cauliflower, which is something I have not made before. So see it here first. These are in various sort of largish bite-sized pieces. And I'm gonna drizzle. I'm not gonna put them in yet, because actually what I'm gonna do first is mix up some turmeric with some olive oil, because I would like a little bit of color, because as I was thinking about this, since I didn't get any greens yesterday, I thought, you know, I need something to provide some color because I had the cauliflower. And I decided I could do some olive oil mixed with some turmeric, and my amazing little whisk has gone away. Seriously, where did the whisk go? Hey, we have a big whisk. I'm gonna whisk some turmeric and olive oil, and totally this is just to make the cauliflower yellow. Nothing else. And then once this is coated, which I will now do with not my hand, because then my hand will get all yellow, I'm gonna sprinkle a little bit of Greek seasoning on top of it. This is Penzeys Greek seasoning. It's a great seasoning blend. It makes an amazing dressing. I love Penzeys Greek seasoning dressing. All right, that is reasonably covered. Now we sprinkle with Greek seasoning. This contains, in case you were wondering, salt, Turkish oregano, garlic, lemon peel, telecherry black pepper, and marjoram. Now you know. And I'm doing a very generous half a teaspoon because I'm thinking that this is, I want this to have some good seasoning. All right. Now let's talk air fryers. I have an Instant Pot brand air fryer. Air fryer is just a mini convection oven, tabletop convection oven. You probably have one that has a basket. I don't. I have one that has trays. And when I teach my air fryer class in November, I will actually have access to my child's one, and theirs is the kind that has basket. And the basket, I think, is pretty cool because you can shake it. But I like this one because it has trays and I can do different things in the different trays. This, if you ever bake anything in an oven and you know your oven has hot spots, this type of an air fryer has that too. So I'm deliberately putting the larger florets off in the corner. But know that these recipes are very similar. I mean, the way to use it, the amount of degrees and how much time it takes, it's all similar. So I'm gonna do, it's still set at 380, and I'm just gonna do 5 minutes and check it, and 5 minutes and check it, and 5 minutes and check it. When I was working on this last night, it was about 12 minutes. But if you look at a cookbook for how to air fry cauliflower, they're gonna give you a huge variety of things, primarily because, I mean, it's a natural agricultural product. So it will take more time depending on how big your florets are. And I have big pieces of tofu and little pieces of tofu. Let's stick the big pieces in the corners and then the little ones in between. All right. Oh, I got turmeric on my white cutting board. It's never gonna come off. All right. So roughly think about 5 minutes and for me to stir. All right, now that that's in, I am going to rinse and chop up. We're gonna take a 3-minute break, okay? We on? Okay, good. We're probably gonna finish maybe a couple minutes late, I'm not sure. We're gonna take a 3-minute break. So get up, get a drink, do whatever you want. Emma will play the music. When the music stops, be back here. I need to unmute myself. Very good. And then you can tell me all about the poll when we're done. So I've just checked the cauliflower and it's working on it, but it needs a few more minutes, as does the tofu. So I want to talk to you about something I'm actually quite good at. There's very little that I feel like I'm good at in the kitchen, but one thing I am good at doing is chopping an onion. And I learned how to chop an onion when I was deployed to Croatia in support of I4S4 after the Dayton Peace Accords in the 90s. So if you want to chop an onion, I'm going to show you two ways to chop an onion. We're going to dice and we're going to slice both, but they both start the same way, with chopping your onion from the tip to the root into two pieces. And I'm going to set one aside. I have my compost. Make sure you cannot see. You're going to tell me all about the bowl, right? Okay, let me talk about onions and then you can tell me about the bowl. I am composting these onion skins, but I want to do know that you can save them and make chicken stock in your Instant Pot or vegetable stock or beef stock, whatever thing you want to add to your Instant Pot. You can do that. Hit cancel. You can do that. I save them in a bag in the freezer. It's my little soup pack. I like it a lot. So I've cut this onion in half from root to tip. Now I'm going to cut off the tip. You do that for both of them. When I'm at work and I'm chopping like 50 pounds of onions, I just cut off the tip and then I cut it in half. But I think it's easier to say, I'm going to peel off the less than interesting parts of this onion and put those in the compost. All right, so I have an onion that has had the tip cut off, has the root over here, and I'm going to take my knife parallel to the cutting board and I'm going to make some slices. And then I'm going to take my knife, turn it 90 degrees and turn it 90 degrees. And I'm going to make some vertical slices. And I'm going to turn it back one more 90-degree turn so that I am parallel to the cut surface of the tip, and chop it again. And that way we've got dices. And I learned this while I was deployed from a wise old medical technician who saved my bacon more times than I can account. So that was my horizontal slices, 90 degrees, 90 degrees. My vertical slices. And then one more 90 degrees, and we have dices. Okay. Now, we're going to saute these because I wanted some greens. So I'll get the compost bucket out of the way. And I'm going to push the saute button. Sauteing in a different model of electric pressure cooker, it could be called browning. But when you push the saute button in an Instant Pot, especially not the Lux models, but Duo, Nova, Ultra, Max, others, you have three setting choices. You have normal, push it again, it'll go up to more. More you use when you are trying to do a stir fry, if you want to do a stir fry in your Instant Pot. If you're trying to have something in a vigorous boil to reduce it a lot, you would have it under more. If you push it again, it'll go down to less. Goodbye to Kendra. Thank you for coming. If you do it down to less will do, if you're caramelizing onions or if you want something to be at a very low simmer for a long period of time. This, of course, is not pressure cooking. This is just not getting another pot dirty. But I like to use normal, and normal is what I use when I'm browning ground beef, when I am sauteing onions, other aromatics, something like that. So it'll say on, and then it's going to start heating up. And when it's hot and ready to go, it'll say hot. Who'd have thunk? And then and only then do I actually add oil to it, which makes the stainless steel even more nonstick. So while that's happening, we're going back to this onion, and I want to show you how to slice an onion. We still have, thank you. We still have this onion that was cut in half from root to tip. I'm going to cut off the tip and throw that. You could, if you had a good onion, you would throw that in a bag to save onion skins for soup stock. But this is a less than good onion. So I'm cutting off the root end, and I'm gonna not save these onion skins. And I'm gonna take off the first layer. All right, so I've got an onion. The root's gone, the tip's gone, it's been cut in half. And you can see these vertical lines, and I'm gonna kind of follow these vertical lines, chopping. And then I'm gonna have a sliced onion. And depending on how thin of an onion you want, don't get your papers in, you know, if you're nice close together to have thin slices. And after a while, it gets kind of hard to do, so you can tip it over, choop, and start it again. Always have a sharp knife. Sharp knives are a wonderful thing. Okay, so sliced and or julienne onions and diced onions. I want you out of the way. We may do pickled onions or something in the future. I don't know. Okay. I'm going to set this aside and tell you why we're having Swiss chard. Because like I said, I wanted some greens for my bowls. When we do the wellness bowls at work, they call it chef's choice. I'm not a chef, I'm just a cook. So I wanted to do what's we're talking about sharpening knives. Yes. This brand is a Kramer Zwilling brand of knife. It is a super fancy knife. My husband gave it to me for birthday, Christmas, many years ago. It is super, super fancy. Never goes in the dishwasher. None of my knives go in the dishwasher. At work, our knives don't even go in the dishwasher. But every couple of months, I take it over to Eversharp in Northeast Minneapolis, and they cost me like $8, and it takes about 10, 20 minutes, and they sharpen it, and then I have happy chopping. It's so worth it. Ha! It's hot. I knew if I talked long enough, it would be hot. So I'm going to splash in some olive oil and let that get hot. And then we're going to put in the diced onion that I just diced and some Swiss chard stems, because I really do like to have something green in a bowl, just because you need something green in a bowl. And I didn't get anything yesterday that I could use. And I thought, you know, cauliflower, carrots, it's kind of lame. So I went out to the garden and I got some Swiss chard. And this is the way I grew up eating Swiss chard. So I've actually typed it up. I think I put it in a big recipe. But I'm kind of sort of roughly chiffonading the Swiss chard leaves. If you're doing basil, you would get all fancy schmancy and stack it up and roll it. I'm not doing that. I'm just kind of chopping it into thinnish ribbons while this is sauteing. And I need to stir it around. I like to use a flat bottom implement. This is a flat bottomed wooden stirrer that I got at IKEA. It's about $2 at IKEA. And it does a really good job when if you need to deglaze your pan and just kind of scrape all the stuff off the bottom, which you would do if you're in a pressure cook, something like hamburger that you have browned first, or onions or something. If you pressure cook and then if you saute first and then you want to pressure cook, you want to scrape the snot out of the stuff on the bottom, because otherwise the bottom will heat unevenly. Wherever something is stuck will get hotter and you'll get a burn error on your Instant Pot. The computer and the thing will say, burn, no, burn, can't do that. And it happens to me often when making spaghetti, because I'll use water and then sauce, but if the sauce gets down, it burns. And it is no bueno at all. All right, this is starting to soften. I'm gonna give it a little bit of salt and pepper. The salt I'm using tonight, by the way, is Diamond Crystal brand kosher salt. I get this at Penzeys. There we go. I like using it If you've heard about that salt, fat, acid, heat lady, she also uses this. Thank you, dear. I like using it because the flakes are larger and more irregular than plain table salt. So when you're measuring it, it has when you measure it, there's less sodium in your teaspoon because it doesn't pack together tightly. And when you're sprinkling it, you get a bigger flake, so it's a bigger hit. And I like that. So a little bit of salt. And then I've got some Penzeys Justice, which is my favorite peppery kind of blend. And this contains shallots, garlic, green peppercorns, chives, and green onion. So it's more than just pepper. A little bit of seasoning there. And then I'm going to turn off saute because it's going to keep on cooking for a little bit a while. So it's not quite as tender as I want, but I know it's going to keep on cooking. And I'm going to let these wilt. All right, I have 3 minutes left. So you're going to drop the link to yogurt sauce, and I'm going to use a previously made yogurt sauce, but I'll spend 30 seconds telling you how to make the yogurt sauce. You could do other sauces, like, can you drop in that garlic sauce that I saw? That sounds good to me. But I really like a nice yogurt sauce. I like it with sour cream on potatoes, but I made some eggplant fries yesterday that were almost perfect, almost. I didn't use any oil, not because I didn't want to, I just kind of wasn't thinking about it. But dunking eggplant fries into a yogurt sauce is so good. So you use some whole milk yogurt over here, some whole milk plain yogurt, some mayonnaise, and then I use salt, I use pepper. I like a little garlic salt too. Minced garlic, whatever kind of thing you want, mix it all up, let it sit for a good while for the flavors to blend. And it is somewhere on, oh, here you go. The result is a really delicious spiced dip, which is kind of boring looking on a TV, I admit. Okay, so that was the last, I think that was 8 recipes, something like that. So we're gonna assemble a bowl. We're gonna assemble a bowl. And since I'm kind of feeling Mediterranean, I'm starting with a blob of hummus. So not official, a blob. I'm starting with a blob of hummus at the bottom of my bowl. I don't know why, just because I want to. And then I am gonna make a blend. I'm gonna use this bowl. I'm gonna make a blend of grains. Yesterday I cooked some pearl barley, so I'm gonna use for our quinoa bowl base, or power bowl, wellness bowl base. We've got some pearl barley, some wild rice. If you were keeping it totally gluten-free, quinoa, wild rice, brown rice, jasmine rice, arborio rice. Heck, there are so many rices. But the various rices and quinoa would be a way to keep this a gluten-free base. And then I've got some farro, and I've got the French green lentils. I'm gonna mix all of that together. Stir it all up. And then we've got something interesting, and this is something we do at work. We had like a quinoa farro and brown rice was the base. So it was an interesting thing to do. So on top of my hummus, I'm gonna do a blend of the base. And then we've got some Moroccan carrots. And we've got some za'atar tofu. And if I grab the cauliflower out, Probably hot. Some air fryer cauliflower. A little bit yellow. That one's kind of prettier. You put that on there. Oh my goodness, that's good. And then I need a green. So a little bit of, oh, shoot. Got to finish your Swiss chard. It's the key thing to finish Swiss chard. I also use this for beet greens. A little splash of red wine vinegar, just a little bit. All right. Now let's spoon you on there. All right, right now, can you go over there? Right now, this is vegan. This is a vegan wellness bowl. And I don't know if I like this camera as much as that one because that seems lighter, yeah? All right, let's move over to this camera. Right now, this is a vegan wellness bowl. The hummus, everything does not contain anything other than plant products. Me personally, because I am not vegan, I'm going to be adding some feta cheese to it and then a little bit of this yogurt sauce because I think that sounds good. So I'm going to do a dollop of yogurt sauce in the center and a little bit of feta cheese sprinkled around. But you do you. And you know that you could be doing all sorts of other customizable things. Did you drop the Skinny Taste Bowls link in there? If not, could you? While I was looking for bowl ideas, I came across this one from Skinny Taste that had just tons and tons and tons of bowls. So check that one out. And if you are watching this on YouTube and can't see the chat, we'll kind of go step by step through all of those links. They should be there in the comments, description section of the YouTube video. All right, so here's my bowl. Here's your bowl. How can I get that? I don't know, the white's kind of bright. Anyway, there's the bowl. If you end up upcoming classes. So I've got, next month I'm teaching a breakfast meal prep class and an all about Instant Pot pasta class, which Instant Pot for pasta is amazing. You don't have to drain your pasta. So if you are someone with a physical disability that prevents you from walking with a heavy pot of water to go drain it or fill it or anything, the Instant Pot, it's so much easier. It's got a pasta class that includes gluten-free pasta, by the way. And breakfast meal prep pasta. In October, it's holiday hacks. In November, it's air fryer vegetables. And oh, thank you. Yes, that is the pasta. That's Dan noodles right there. Dan noodles, sauteed the pork, added the stuff, pressure cooked. So yummy. Air fryer vegetables, November 4th. And then desserts, Instant Pot desserts. Instant Pot desserts, that reminds me. So we'll flip this out. My zucchini went a little bonkers. And let's move you over here. I made in my Instant Pot zucchini bread. This is in the 6 quart, this is in the 3 quart. And I don't have a fancy recipe for that. What I have for you is, I didn't even give you the link. No, this is from Homemade in the Kitchen, formerly known as Chocolate Moussey. And I used her recipe for chocolate zucchini bread. Started with a stick of butter. This is more cake than bread. So I put it in an Instant Pot wood pan, but I used the same cooking time. So her recipe, but her recipe was for a single loaf. I did that. And then I used my recipe for banana bundt bread. I think I have banana bundt bread recipe. May have been the last recipe I published. I don't know. If not, I'll have to publish it. But it looks delicious. And I wasn't sure if it would fill up the bundt pan that I use in my 6 quart. So I kind of divided it in half, but it probably would do perfectly for a 6-quart. This 7-inch Bundt pan that you put in a 6-quart machine would be perfect for that. Thank you. Okay. So those are all the recipes. And do you have any questions? If so, speak now or forever hold your peace. Otherwise, you're going to email me. My email is maddaus@mac.com, MADAUS@MAC.com. Email me your questions. I will do that more. Did you do you did the link for the classes? All right. So there you have it. This recording will be, you can stop the recording. Yeah, let's stop that now. Thank you for coming. Stop the recording.